What's up, guys? Coming at you from Shenzhen as usual. I am in my brew pub today picking up a beer. Why let my keys go to waste? Yeah. So I wasn't actually going to do a vlog entry today, but I had a goal at the beginning of the month to do one entry every day. And I've more or less kept up with it. Some of the days it looks like I uploaded 2 on one day and not on the next. But it depends on the upload time based on kind of Hong Kong, Beijing time. But more or less I've stuck to it. I almost gave up today, but we're almost there. We only have a couple more, well, a few more days, not a couple, a few more days, and I think I can do it. After this month is over, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, I think. Don't hold me to it, but at least I'll get my goal done of doing one per day for this month, for the month of February. So what am I going to talk about? I don't really have anything specific to talk about. One thing I should probably mention is, if you guys remember, or for those of you who saw it, when I came in and I reduced the temperature on one of these tanks, the beer inside, because it finished fermenting, we needed to drop the temperature to drop the yeast out of suspension. I should have probably mentioned the name of the beer, and the beer that I'm drinking now too. And this is going to sound like an advertisement, but it's just too funny. And it's End of Days, 世界末日. And it is so appropriate. It's the perfect name for this period. Well, hopefully it's not too perfect, but it's kind of a funny name for what's going on these days. And this is a beer that we've had since we opened. The naming has been there since 5 years ago. Actually, hold on, here. Look at this. I'm going to prove it to you, just in case you don't believe me. That's it. That's the logo of the beer. End of Days. Now it's really going to seem like an advertisement, but I don't know if it's a good name to have anymore, to be honest. And there's no way I could have printed that during this time just to show you guys. But I don't know how I missed that to mention how funny that is. That's the beer I had to come in and look after during this kind of period of time. But so what can I talk about? I can say that there is a third day of 0 increases in Shenzhen for coronavirus, and 1 in all of Guangdong province, which is really encouraging. There is a negative where I do see more people outside not wearing masks now. Most of them are wearing masks still, but I think some people are kind of celebrating early. And I think it's far too early to celebrate. But, I'm still wearing a mask. I took my mask off when I came in my brew pub before I started this video. But I think people should still be cautious. There was a confirmed case in Hong Kong. A police officer caught coronavirus, and the protesters went out in the street and started celebrating with champagne, which may sound really weird to some of you guys, but it doesn't sound weird to me. It's like what you've heard me talk about these guys before, and it's what I would expect from them. There was a journalist named Melissa Chan, I think her name is. She was posting all of the information about how there's this, I can't remember the word she used, a celebratory feel in Hong Kong that's been absent for a long time. And somebody took a screenshot and sent it to me, because Melissa Chan actually blocked me a number of months ago. She's been a real supporter of the protesters. She's not really a journalist. She's like on paper she's a journalist, but she's these kind of new age journalists who actually have an agenda more than actually reporting on things in an unbiased way. And there was one time when she posted a video of an old man on the street directing traffic where the traffic lights were broken. And she forwarded what the guy said, the old guy. And he said, "I wouldn't have to do this if the police were doing their job." And the thing is coming from somebody who supports the protesters, Melissa Chan, I retweeted it and I said, well, because the people who broke those traffic lights were the protesters. So I said, well, how about if the protesters didn't break them in the first place, then we wouldn't have this problem to worry about. And then she blocked me after that because I think it was too much for her or whatever. But that's what I saw going on Twitter today. And what else is there? Oh, so the app that I mentioned in yesterday's vlog that I downloaded, and we've got to download and put our details in when we're leaving and entering our building. And I found out, it does look like that is a tracking app. That is an app so that the government can kind of track where we move. And I know a lot of people are kind of shocked at that, and they think, oh, wow, that's terrible. You're losing your freedom, or even if they thought there were any freedoms here to begin with. But there's actually something interesting that it says. It says that they needed us to do that in order to track us better. They couldn't just do it automatically on their own. And there was actually a story of them asking Tencent and all these other companies to hand over the data during this period of time, and they didn't want to. They actually refused, which a lot of people might find that surprising, that that's just not something that they automatically have access to. And I can understand why some people with kind of coming from Canada, I can understand why some people will be shocked by that information and even say things like, especially for me, somebody who's okay with that app. People will quote Benjamin Franklin, who says that something along the lines of those who are willing to trade liberty and freedom for a little bit of safety deserve neither. Now, ignoring for a fact that that quote was taken out of context by everybody who's using it today. There's an NPR bit on it. I think it's only 2 or 3 minutes long. I'll try to find the link for you guys. It was actually, he was talking about a tax dispute, and it doesn't really apply to what's going on in terms of technology now. But regardless, even if we want to believe that that's what it meant, I think people who use that phrase, it's kind of, using that phrase is kind of ignorant and condescending. Ignorant because it doesn't take into consideration that everything is a balance. It doesn't take into consideration that you need to think about your lowest common denominator in society when you're thinking about these things. But it's also condescending to anybody who knows that everything is a balance, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of something to get more of something else. And so the idea for somebody who uses that phrase is, no, you have to do it my way. It's my way, it's all the way or nothing at all. And I think that's a little bit condescending to say that it needs to be done in one particular person's way, or the way that they think things should be done. But getting back to the ignorant thing and considering the lowest common denominator, the lowest common denominator we have right now here in China is the person who doesn't admit they were exposed to coronavirus, either that they were around somebody who turned out to be infected knowingly and they're concealing it for everybody, somebody who escaped Wuhan or left Wuhan and they're not transparent about that information. These are the lowest common denominators. The dishonest person who has the ability, just 1 or 2 people, the ability to undo all of the efforts we've gone through in Shenzhen. Closing my business. I don't know when I'm going to open again. This is going to be a huge hit to everybody, but we're doing it because it's what we got to do. And we're not complaining. I mean, maybe some people are complaining, but I understand. And it's only going to take 1 or 2 bad actors like that to mess it all up and just waste all the sacrifices we've made. So now that we've got this app, which I'm going to uninstall after this is all said and done, I don't have to worry about it as much. I don't have to worry about it if in our building, we've got somebody who was exposed and they're not telling anybody, or who's just going out in public without a mask on. Unfortunately, we got to think about these kinds of people, and this app is a pretty good solution in the meantime. I can understand how a lot of people are going to have a hard time sympathizing with that train of thought, but you know what? You're not on the ground here. Well, maybe you are. And thinking about what we got to do and the risks that other people are putting us through when they're being dishonest like that. So I think other than that, what else was there? I don't think there's anything else. I think, actually, you know what? There's a street cleaner outside, and he's been here the whole Chinese New Year, and I've talked to him a few times. He never went home for the New Year. And I want to get him a beer if he drinks beer. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to get this guy a beer. These are the unsung heroes of China. The guys who are still showing up to work. They're putting their risk outside. They're delivering stuff to us. They're showing up at grocery stores and working. And if I can get this guy a beer, I'm going to be really happy. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Stay safe. Take all the precautions you should be taking. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.